So today I want to talk about affordable housing. I would say we have over 10 years experience in real estate. So we have dealt with construction, we've dealt with what we call housing, affordable housing, and also land selling. So over 10 years experience. And that tells you that we have seen it all and we know what it takes to do construction and for that matter, affordable housing. So Mr. Victor gave me a topic to handle about affordable housing because that's what we've been doing all along. And I'm gonna handle 4 points about affordable housing. And let's say one of you or one of us in this audience want to venture into affordable housing. What you require and what makes it affordable, because you know we have several projects in real estate, but when you are able to capture the middle class market and the low class market in terms of affordable housing, I know that way you'll be very successful in real estate. So that's what I'm going to handle today. So when it comes to affordable housing, so what is affordable housing? Affordable housing is the concept that guarantee homeowners for middle and low income earners who actually comprise of the biggest population in the country today. And house being a basic need, each one of us need a house. So to achieve affordable housing, there are a crucial aspect to consider. One of them is cost of land. The other one is the type of house to build. The other one is size of land and source and type of building materials, and also finishing and fittings that you're going to put in that house. So the cost of land is very important aspect and crucial in coming up with affordable housing, because if you're able to get land that is as fairly priced, when it's fairly priced, that means even the cost of, as you come up with the final cost of that house, it's gonna play a big factor in that this land, I'm talking the aspect that you are buying this land. So this land is here, it's fairly priced, you have been able to negotiate and get the best price about it. So when you are computing and the price of the house you are building, it will play a very big factor because it has to be factored in the price, the final price of the house. So cost of land, you have to get it right at the beginning, that you get land that is well priced, is not exaggerated, and that way is going to assist you in coming up with the final price. Then you've got now the land. What's the size of the land? Because when you're building, we've seen in terms of land management, you have to be very careful about the size of land you are using to do construction. So that's why we involve our surveyors and our architect in designing. So the size of land, I think the least land we can build on, depending on the location, is a 50 by 100. That's a need of an acre. We've seen other developers doing on 40 by 80, but the best recommended size, it's 50 by 100. 50 by 100, that's a need of an acre. So the cost of land majorly affects the cost of the development right from the beginning, since it's the first cost factored in when calculating the cost of the project. Number 2, the size of the land usually determines the type of development you'll undertake, and it's closely intertwined with the cost of land. For example, when acquiring land, it's quite expensive. You will get moderate size of land and do high-rise building, like apartments. Well, when acquiring land is quite affordable, you'll get expansive portion of land and do estate scheme model gated communities. So, for example, if we take an example of Diani Holiday Homes, it's on 1 acre piece of land, 800 meters from the beach. So that land was expensive. And that's why the model we are doing, it's apartments. So if you check other projects that we have in Nairobi, in areas called Joska, where land is expensive, land is affordable, we are building like bungalows and mansionette. So that's generally what we mean. If the land is expensive, for you to break even and also make money, you have to do what we call apartment. Because when you do apartment, you are multiplying that land in terms of, yes, I have an acre, but I can multiply it to be 5 acres if I do 5 floors apartment. So, but if you have expensive land, you have 5 acres, you have 10 acres, that's why we consider we do single dwelling of bungalows and mansionette, each one on its own compound, gated houses. So that's what generally that means in terms of size of land. Then number 3, size and type of house is a key factor when deciding how affordable houses are. For example, if you undertake to develop a unit with extreme area coverage, the cost will deem to be affordable, since the more the square meters, the higher the cost. So the space should be adequate, functional, and no dead space within the houses. So what that generally means is that the type of house you're doing in terms of size and the printful area and what we call the square meter or the square feet you're going to cover in your design will also determine the cost of construction. So that way, it will affect the cost of construction and the affordability of that unit. Number 4 is type of building materials that you are using, fittings and finishing. To acquire affordable housing, you should embrace the concept of blending locally available material, fittings and finishes with the standard manufactured materials based on different consumer tastes and preferences. So where you source the materials and the cost is very important because at the end of the day it will affect the cost of that houses. So experts have advised you blend local materials and important finishing so that you can get the best quality and the best prices. So it's going to do your homework to search where these materials are best quality and most affordable so that you can be able to come up with an affordable house, affordable unit that is gonna cost you the best price. So those are the points. I have another one, number 5, last but not the least, is cost of transport. Cost of transport. The cost of transport, it covers or takes like 40% of your construction cost. And that means it's very important because you see with the latest inflation, high prices of fuel, transport is very important. So for example, if you have your own like trucks and lorries to carry these construction materials, you reduce the cost of construction by 40%. So that's another very important factor when it comes to affordable housing. I'll go to joint ventures. There's another topic I was to handle, joint ventures.